Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session. My name's Tracy, and I'm here to share some insights into how generative AI is revolutionizing the way we approach assessments in education. Today, we'll focus specifically on the power of custom GPTs. These are specialized generative pre-trained transformers designed to meet your unique teaching needs and objectives. In this brief recording, I aim to provide a clear and accessible introduction to the custom GPT feature of chatbots, demonstrating how it can significantly enhance the creation, the refinement, and the grading of assessments. So, whether you're new to this technology or looking to deepen your understanding, I hope to make this session both informative and engaging. So, let's dive in and explore how these innovative tools can make substantial impact on your educational practices. First, a little bit about me. My name's Tracy Mendolia Moore, and I serve as the Manager of Educational Technology Innovations at the Center of Excellence in Teaching and Learning at Western University of Health Sciences. Over the past few years, AI has really become a significant part of my professional journey. I've had the privilege of delivering numerous presentations across the US on the use of generative AI in education. And additionally, I'm actively involved with EDUCAUSE and their AI initiatives and oversee several AI projects at Western U aimed at enhancing student learning. My current PhD research, which I'll be completing this year, explores academic dishonesty within the age of AI. And then just as a little disclosure here, as a formal note, I want to clarify that I have no actual potential conflicts with the information I'm going to present today. And the views and opinions I'm going to share are solely my own and not necessarily the views of my university. So with that, we're going to focus on three key areas today. These are our learning objectives. We're going to understand custom GPTs. We'll dive into what a custom GPT is and how it functions. This will give you a solid foundation of the technology's basics and its capabilities. Next, we're going to create our own custom GPT, and I'll walk you through the steps to create your own custom GPT. We'll go through everything with the initial setup, the fine tuning process, and ensure that you have all the tools that you need to get started. And then the last one is a practical application. I'll discuss how custom GPTs can be effectively utilized within developing course assessments and grading student work. We'll explore the example that I'm going to share with you and talk a little bit about how education or technology can change education. So by the end of this session, you'll have a comprehensive understanding of custom GPTs, that's my goal, and how they can be leveraged to enhance the teaching and learning experience. So first and foremost, setting the foundation, let's begin by answering the question, what exactly is a GPT? A custom GPT, or a generative pre-trained transformer, is a refined version of the original GPT model developed by OpenAI. These custom versions are specifically tailored to meet the unique needs or applications that harness the robust capabilities of those large language models and artificial intelligence. They utilize deep learning techniques to generate human-like text-based responses based on the prompts that they receive. Unlike those standard models, custom GPTs are fine-tuned with specific data sets that are relevant to the particular fields or industries that we're focused on. This fine-tuning process customizes the model's responses, making them more precise and particularly useful in specialized tasks versus the broad capabilities that are traditional with these AI models. Today, we'll explore how these fine-tuned models and how these data sets can be specifically relevant to what we're looking for with this custom GPT. So, a GPT example. I understand that all of this talk about acronyms and the complexities of computer science and artificial intelligence, it can be a little overwhelming. So let's break it down to a very simple example here. Imagine you're already using ChatGPT, which is a very versatile AI tool that can chat about almost anything. And say you ask it about the history of a philosopher, or you need help drafting an email to a colleague, or even getting travel tips for an upcoming trip. ChatGPT is incredibly smart and covers a wide range of topics with its responses. However, While ChatGPT is very knowledgeable, its responses can sometimes be a little too broad, especially when you need them for more tailored or more specific needs. So, like a course on optometry. So, for instance, if you ask ChatGPT for questions suitable for an optometry exam, the answers might not be focused enough on the detailed aspects of optometry that your students are in need to understand. So, now let's utilize or visualize a specialized version of ChatGPT crafted specifically for your courses. We're going to call it iBot. And iBot acts as an expert in course assessments. For example, if you ask it for questions on an optometry topic, iBot doesn't just provide a detailed response, it also suggests multimedia resources to enrich your teaching materials, and then it aligns those with the questions within the knowledge set for your course. So, iBot can guide you through the process of creating a grading rubric that aligns with your course objectives and even assists within the grading process of your student work. So while ChatGPT serves for broad knowledge, um, the capabilities of the more specific, unique iBot model that we're able to create with the custom GPT, it's tailored to your assessments and your content specifically. It's designed to assist in developing the precise and effective and engaging um, evaluations or assessments that you're looking for that are specific to your course. So that's kind of the difference between ChatGPT, that broad component, and then iBot, which is more specific. So let's move forward and begin the process of creating our own custom GPT similar to the iBot. Today we'll be using ChatGPT Plus, which is the paid version of ChatGPT. Currently it's priced at about $20 a month, and the subscription is flexible with no contract obligation, so it allows you to cancel at any time if you need to. And then to create the custom GPT we're discussing today, the ChatGPT Plus version is required due to its advanced capabilities and features. You can't do what we're going to do today with the free version of ChatGPT. So if you have questions or would like more information about the pricing, you can go to openai.com/chatgpt/pricing and find more information from there. So with that, let's dive in. Today, we'll simplify the process of creating a custom GPT by breaking it down into just 4 steps. Each step is designed to ensure that you effectively create, implement, and manage your own tailored GPT model. So step 1, first step, define and prepare. In this initial step, you'll define the specific tasks or domains for your custom GPT. What exactly do you need it to accomplish? You will also gather and clean that data set and that's relevant to your model, and where you'll begin the actual construction and development of that GPT. In step 2, we're going to train and fine tune the model. During this step, we'll focus on enhancing the model's capabilities. I'll guide you through the instructions section. We're going to talk a little bit about OCR-enabled supported documentation. If you're not sure what that is, I'll explain it a little bit more in just a moment. And then we're going to define the capabilities of that particular AI model. What do you want it to do? And then 3, test and implement. For step 3, we're going to test the model within the preview pane and assess its performance, and then make any necessary adjustments that need to be made in order to get the responses that you're looking for. We'll also cover how to integrate the custom GPT into its intended environment. So if you're going to share it, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then step 4, maintain and review. It's crucial to regularly monitor your GPT's performance and functionality. In this final step, we'll talk a little bit about the importance of adhering to ethical standards, maintaining compliance with data privacy laws. We'll talk a little bit about HIPAA, FERPA, and any other regulations. So those are our 4 steps for today. First one, define and prepare. So in this step, we're going to lay the foundational work for our custom GPT by focusing on several key aspects. The first one, determine the specific tasks or domains for the custom GPT. Here, we're going to start by identifying the specific task that you want to do. Ask yourself, what is the purpose of the GPT? What do I expect the outcome to be? What will I create or facilitate? So consider what kind of responses that you want to get and what expertise might be required for that GPT to be most effective. And this will guide you in how to create or collect the data and the training that you're going to need. That second one there, gather and clean the data set that's relevant to your model's intended use. So once you collect all of the data that's relevant to your GPT, you're going to want to make sure that it's clean. And by clean, I mean free from any unnecessary fluff, unnecessary content. ChatGPT values each word equally. So we don't want to have too many fluff words in our content because that will become the knowledge base for essentially the brain of that GPT that we're focused on. So we want to make sure that it's clean. Correct any errors within the knowledge content. So if you see something that is in your syllabus that maybe isn't correct anymore or relevant, correct it before you upload it into your GPT model. And then if you can, format any data to be consistent. Again, this just minimizes any potential hallucinations by the AI. So your formatting is important. You want to make sure it's consistent. And then the last one there, begin to build your GPT. So here on the screen, you can see a blank GPT model. You can give your GPT a name. Right here, you give your GPT a name. And you can select this plus button up here at the top and give your GPT an image, and then provide a brief description of your GPT. What is its purpose? What does it do? What are you going to do with it? So those will be the pieces you're going to do in step one. To expand a little bit more on this define and prepare section, what things should you consider adding to your custom GPT? So here's a list here. Just briefly go through them. Educational standards and competencies, national, international educational standards, anything that's relevant to the discipline and specifically to the course, because we're going to make this for a course specific GPT. So specific to your course, what are those standards? Any frameworks, competencies, skills that students should acquire? Those should be documents that you consider adding to that custom GPT as you're looking to acquire and curate that knowledge. Curriculum content, syllabi, outlines, lecture notes, study guides, those different types of things you're going to also consider adding into the custom GPT in that knowledge section. Any publicly available textbooks, open source textbooks, publicly available academic papers, anything that supports that course, if it's open access, you can also add that to your custom GPT. And then any assessments, rubrics, if you have an example of a rubric, something you've used before, you'll want to also add that. And then, of course, keep in mind, best practices with assessments related to Bloom's taxonomy, anything that's relevant to that course. You're going to put it in that knowledge set, and we're going to start building that brain of that GPT. So you're going to, for step one, you're just going to acquire, and you're just going to find everything. For step two, we're going to train, and we're going to fine tune that GPT. So this is a crucial step as part of this process. First, we're going to maximize that instructions section. So you can see here, let me grab my pointer. Right here, we have the instructions section. And what you're going to want to do in this section is describe, what does your GPT do? What does it do? And you can be wordy with this. What should it not do, or what should it avoid doing? And then provide detailed instructions on anything that you expect it to do. The example here I'm going to use is with the PREP framework, and PREP is a prompt engineering framework, and I'll expand upon it in a moment. But you can add all of that content and that prompt into this section here, and that will help hone in on the purpose of your GPT model and give you more accurate answers of what you're expecting to see. Then moving on, we're going to upload that supportive documentation. So any of those PDFs, those resources, all of those things that we collected as part of step one, we're going to upload them right here within the knowledge section. That's going to be all of this stuff. We're essentially building the brain of our GPT model in order to make it most effective to what we need. And then we're going to define the capabilities down here at the bottom. So do you want your AI to be able to access the web and do some web browsing? I would enable this one so it has accurate information and it can pull from the web to support its answers. In this particular case of what we're doing, I don't think we need to add the Dolly images, so we could unclick that. We're also not going to do coding, so we can unclick that one. But down here at the very bottom, I do want to point out this important one. This is clicked by default, so you'll want to unclick this one. So this basically allows OpenAI and the ChatGPT models to take the information that you've uploaded and the responses and prompts that you've interacted with that GPT model and use all of that content to train future iterations of their GPTs. So this takes away some of the privacy features that might be there. So you'll want to unclick that one. And then just to elaborate a little bit further on the training and fine-tuning component with regards to the prompt framework, this is the PrEP framework. The PrEP framework, there's a lot of frameworks out there. This particular one I've been using for a long time, well, about a year or so, but it comes to us from a book called The AI Classroom, The Ultimate Guide to Artificial Intelligence in Education by Dan Fitzpatrick, Amanda Fox, and Brad Weinstein. It's available on Amazon if you're interested. But it breaks down this particular framework to create a pretty robust prompt. So the PrEP framework prompt that I'm using for our example today is down here at the bottom, and you can see it's broken down with P, with the prompt, please assist in developing a comprehensive assessment strategy, and so on. The role, we want to give that AI a role in this particular prompt. So we're going to say act as an educational consultant specializing in assessment strategies. And that's the AI's role in this case. E, we're going to provide detailed response that integrates and integrate and references the extensive knowledge base files provided within the configuration settings. So we're going to leverage our configuration settings in that explicit piece there. And then P, our parameters, provide examples and instructions that can be directly implemented or easily adapted by faculty members and so on. So that's what I took all of that information and I put that into our instructions section within our prompt framework or within our GPT model, I'm sorry. Okay, so step 3 in this sense is to test it. We're going to make sure everything works. We're going to test the model. We have the preview pane that's going to be on the right-hand side, which we can see right here behind in the shading. And we're going to, you can select a conversation starter. If you put one of those in there, you can ask a question that might be relative to your content, whatever you'd like to put in there. Go ahead and select it and let's test it out and see if you're getting the responses that you're expecting. If you're not, then you can come back over here to this left side here, adjust your instructions to be more specific of what you're wanting, or maybe you need to look at that knowledge content to see if you uploaded the correct information, or maybe there's too much fluff or incorrect information in one of those other resources. So you'll want to check that knowledge and then we'll fine tune it until you get it to a point where you think that it's acceptable and then it's good to go. Once it's ready, you're going to select create, which will be located up here in the top right corner of your screen. And then from there, you can test out or publish your GPT, publish your GPT. You can share it with colleagues, which would be this option here. Anyone with the link can have that. Usually when I create these, it's only me that has access to it. So I'll select that option. And then if you do want to publish it to the GPT store, which I would not recommend, that's down here. That would make it public. So I would not recommend that. So those are your options for access. And then of course, if you do share it with anybody or wherever your link ends up, you'll want to make sure that it works correctly. So test that out as well. As you're testing your custom GPT, think about what questions, what am I even going to ask this thing, right? Here's a few ideas for you. You can generate questions based on your learning outcomes. So in the example, you might say to ChatGPT and that custom GPT, generate 5 multiple choice questions that assess the understanding of whatever your topic might be at whatever level you're looking for. So it can give you those answers and those responses there. You can adjust difficulty levels, provide 3 essay questions on whatever topic, ranging from moderate to high in their difficulty. So that might be another option. Refine questions for clarity. Maybe you've got some questions and you want to make them easier for the students to understand. Right here, refine the essay question and increase the clarity and focus. Just ask the AI to help you. Ensure the balance and the alignment of the question set. Ask the AI to help you with that. Grading. Ask the custom GPT that you just built to assist with your rubric. Create a rubric based on this information and this criteria here. It'll give you at least a good starting point, if not a final rubric. And then the last one here, grading assignments. You can ask the GPT to grade a reflective assignment, an essay assignment based on the knowledge set that you have, and simply say grade the following assignment based on the rubric. If you have a rubric, it should be in the knowledge base, and provide summarized feedback to justify the grade that was given. If you do this grading option, a couple things you'll want to make sure. Take away anything that's relative to the student that provides personal or identifiable information. We don't want any HIPAA or FERPA content being within or seated within any of these assignments that might be graded by an AI. Okay, so a few ideas about what even to ask. And then our last one here, within our 4 steps, maintain and review. So you're going to want to check back with your custom GPT and check on its performance and functionality. Make sure that it's still doing what you're doing, or what it's supposed to be doing. AI is changing extremely rapidly, and it seems every day is something new. So you'll want to check with it when you go to use it again, if it's been a while. If you need to update content, maybe you need to update the syllabi, you'll go back to your GPT, edit it, and upload the most relevant information. Again, as a special note right here, just as an aside, if you have your memory settings on, they're on by default within your ChatGPT account. Some of your prompts might bleed into other prompts. So if you're using this for work, you might want to check that memory setting and turn that off just to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. So last one, again, security, privacy, all of those things in ethics, very, very important when it comes to generative AI. Never, ever enter student information into any of these large language models, whether it be a custom GPT that you made or the free version. Never enter student information into these models, or patient information for that matter. Understand that your prompts, your responses, your knowledge information, anything that goes into one of these large language models could potentially be accessed by the public. It could be used to train future iterations of these large language models, and therefore be accessible to other individuals. So anything of privacy, you're going to want to hesitate to put that content in there. And then I would consult with your institution's IT department to get their guidance on those privacy considerations, data privacy laws. And then, of course, the ethical components of this, and how you're using your GPT. You'll want to make sure that your ethics align, how you use with the GPT aligns with your own personal ethics and its use case. Another point there, AIs are wonderful, and they can expedite many of these mundane processes that we don't want to do, maybe such as grading. However, the content that comes out of the AI should be evaluated by a human for accuracy. We don't want to just take the AI for what it's worth. We want to make sure that we're taking a look at it, because ultimately anything that's communicated from you to the student, even if it was AI generated content, is still your responsibility. And so it's important to keep that in mind. So let's see it in action. I'm going to take you through a quick demo of the custom GPT that I made that we saw within those screenshots there, and give you a tour of what we put together. So let me move this screen over. There we go. Okay, you should all be able to see my ChatGPT account here. And as you can see, I've got ChatGPT 4 enabled. This is just generic. I'm going to open up my sidebar. And I have quite a few GPTs that I've made for this particular one. For this particular purpose, I've created CNA 101, which is an assessment creator. I've enabled that GPT, and you can now see that up here in the top left, where ChatGPT 4 was originally listed, you can see that the name of my GPT is now listed there instead. So here I can ask it all sorts of questions. I have my conversation starters here that I put in as part of the creation of my ChatGPT or custom GPT creation. But we're going to come over here and we are going to edit this GPT so you can see behind the scenes inner workings of what I created. So here's the image that was created by Dolly. It created it on its own. It's fine by me. I have my name of my GPT that I created. I have a brief description of the GPT that I created. The instructions that I mentioned where I used that prompt framework. This is where I pasted everything, just copy and pasted it over, and I put it all in here. You can see all that content there with that outlined. My conversation starters are just things that I thought maybe this GPT might help me with. So can you please help assist me with the multiple choice questions, creation of a rubric? And as you can see, all these conversation starters are also listed here in this preview screen. And then my knowledge base in this particular example, I have the syllabus, and then I have a open source document for one of the reading textbooks or that was required as part of this course. I do have web browsing enabled and I've disabled these others. And as you can see here, I've got to click additional settings and scroll down for it to see use conversation data in your GPT to improve our models. No, I don't want to share. So I unclicked that. Okay. My preview screen is right here. So we can click simply one of these. There's my conversation starter. It's just making it easier for me. There's my multiple choice questions. It also is giving me the answer, which is helpful. And it's pulling this information. As you can see, I just asked it for, can you please assist me in development of multiple choice questions? That's all I asked it. However, because I have this information within my knowledge set, it knows that it's asking me questions about this information for my CNA course that I have. That's how it's getting this information. So you can see it's relevant to the knowledge set that I provided it. And I have my questions here. And also in this particular case, it gives me a rubric, developing a detailed rubric, and some grading strategies. So it's gone above and beyond just giving me some questions, multiple choice questions. And then of course from here, I would go through each one of these and make sure that the content and information that it provided me and the questions and the distractors and the correct answer are also good question items. And then if I make any changes to this model, I'm going to click update and it will update the model. And then you can also click share here, and share will allow you to share the model to colleagues. You can see access is invite only. I can copy the link. Link's copied to my clipboard, and then I can share my link with other people. Or I can change the settings to, right now it's only me, anyone with the link, and so on. So that is kind of the tutorial of the model that I've put together, walking through each one of those steps. And then from here, I can ask it all sorts of questions. I can keep it in the preview range, but I'm actually going to go back to the live version. Again, this is my published CNA assessment design chatbot. And let me find a question. Go back here to some of these questions. Let's see, generate 5 multiple choice questions that assess the understanding of patient safety. Generate 5 MCQs that the understand patient safety. And I'm picking that one because I know that it's in my my knowledge set within my course. And as you can see, here are all of my questions, my distractors, and my answers, and they are all tailored to that knowledge set within that custom GPT that we just created. So with that, let's move back over to our demo. So next steps at this point, visit chat.openai.com. And you're going to have to sign up for the paid version if you want to be able to do the custom GPTs. Again, $20 per month. You can cancel at any time, test it out. And then start with something simple. So begin to gather some content, start with a simple course, maybe the stuff that has content already ready available. The syllabus is ready. It has some open access resources. We don't want to put any resources in here that are not considered open access due to potential copyright infringement. We want to make sure that whatever we're contributing is publicly available. And start with an easy course and test it out. So my best advice is to test it out. So with that, I know it was a really kind of a complex topic to break it down. I'm really hoping that you found this information to be helpful. If you have any questions as you're going through this process or just want a little bit of support, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email address is right there. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. I post regularly things about generative AI and innovative technologies in general to my LinkedIn, things that I find interesting. So I'm happy to help as you're going through this process. So again, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you found this to be beneficial and that you have a success with your custom GPT.